Hello, bonjour, bienvenue. My name is Bérénice Bérénice Martin. I come from the International Relations Office of UPC, and I'm in charge of the coordination for international student mobility among the university. I will try to present you a little bit which is a new framework within the Erasmus Plus program. I'm sure that maybe most of you are already aware of what is Erasmus Plus and what it's going to be, but I hope that within this workshop you can find the way how to use it, though we don't know it very much. Erasmus Plus was rebuilt from the old Erasmus program and other EU programs with the objective of Europe 2020 and some indicators that have to be achieved. And different agendas and different meetings and treaties that I don't want to bore you with all the figures. There are some key ideas and key messages within this program and in all the EU higher education programs and higher education actions. So there are some improving quality and relevance of EU education in the world, for instance. There was already within the Erasmus Mundus program the Action 4, for instance, that was aiming to reach this target, and also strengthening the quality within what is already the mobility. Also linking higher education research and business, which was not done so much and was not promoted so much like in the other programs, and now there is this new objective to link universities with companies, with research centers, and everyone working together and trying to work as much as possible in new projects. And also improving governance and funding for universities, either for their projects internally and with the other universities, and also improve the governance, which was, for instance, in the Tempus projects before. Well, the sustainability of the projects is a key issue, and in theory there should be simplified procedures, though we have to see it. And of course the EU added value that I was telling you is something that is stressed in some of the courses. We hope that we will have a long path for the next few years with a lot of money for many different projects. There are some calls that are going to appear with some general ideas. We have just had now in March, April, the first calls for the strategic partnerships, for instance, and we hope that we can see which are going to be the new goals and the new objectives in the next calls for the next spring. In the past, as I was telling you, we came from many different programs, not only from the DG of Education, but also from another DG, for instance, for Cooperation, where it was halfway Erasmus Mundus or Tempus or Alpha, and then everything is reformed and condensed into the big Erasmus Plus. The big Erasmus Plus is, of course, maintaining the big promotional tool that is mobility. And after mobility, we are going, as I always say, deeper in love with our relation with other universities, in cooperation projects, and also other actions of EU for policy support. Well, there should be more mobility within the new Erasmus Plus program. There should be, and there will be, as they say, more budget for this. And there are new profiles within these mobility activities. So in Erasmus Plus is maintained Erasmus and staff mobility, teaching staff mobility and also non-teaching staff mobility, mobility for people of the administration of the universities, for instance, that can make benchmarking and, for instance, come to different universities to see how others work and are organizing, international relations or the libraries or whatever. And also there is going to be new mobilities with non-EU countries. This was not foreseen for this year because it was too tight, and it will come up in 2016-17, 2016-2017. So we are looking forward to this action because it will help us all to improve and increase or establish relations with non-EU partner universities, either the ones that already work with us or new ones, with some few small grants for students and professors, but at least there will be grants.
Excusez-moi.
Yes?
Poser une question. Est-ce que les partenaires sud de la Méditerranée
Oui.
commencent cette année ou c'est l'année prochaine?
Tout le monde va commencer en 2016-17.
2016-17.
Oui. En fait, l'Union européenne elle voulait mettre en place tout ça en même temps pour Erasmus+, pour toutes les actions. Et les fonds qui font partie de cette action de mobilité avec tout ce qui n'est pas l'Europe, ça fonctionne à travers les fonds de coopération externe de l'Union européenne. Et donc, ça requiert certaines formalités, je suppose, comme auparavant les Erasmus Mundus, qui viennent de la partie de coopération aussi. Et donc, ça va être mis en place en 2014-15 pour commencer en 2016-17. On nous a déjà dit que ce seront, they have already told us that there will be few grants, not many, like not so large like in Erasmus Plus for EU, but there will be many grants and for anywhere in the world. The details, unfortunately, we don't know them all, and I assume that we will not know anything or almost anything until spring 2015, next spring. One very interesting thing for many students is loans, grants to pursue their master studies in another EU university. And as there were in Erasmus Mundus, scholarships to build up Erasmus Mundus Masters, joint masters. The doctorates that were under Erasmus Mundus are going to be within the Marie Curie actions for research. So as I was telling you, there is going to be maintained short-term teaching and training mobility for professors or administrative staff. And there will still be some projects for those of you that want to prepare the old intensive projects that were like kind of summer courses that did not need to be in summer. It can be along the year. So some European countries can join one project and establish one summer session, not in the summer, and organize it in one of the partner countries. One of the goals of the new Erasmus Plus is to improve the learning of languages of students that are going to be moving around Europe within Erasmus and within other actions. So there will be some funds for the institutions to support these mobilities and this preparation. And also the funds for disadvantaged students or funds for disabled students will also be maintained. And also some students that come from what they call remote areas. So for instance, students from Iceland, that is the core of European Union, and Iceland is here, or Canary Islands, that is over there in front of Morocco. So they will have an extra small support. And interesting student loans for master programs. Universities, of course, they had to apply for the big Erasmus charter, that is the EU card to go into the casino to work and play with all these Erasmus Plus activities. So we applied and we have our Erasmus charter. There is a higher requirement for quality in the process, quality of the mobilities, and quality in tracking all the mobilities. So the documents and everything is going to be reformed. In fact, for instance, the learning documents, for instance, And there will be also a higher increase of use of ICT tools. So the European Union is putting in place a big tool that is called mobility tool to track all the mobilities around Europe, not waiting until the final reports of the Erasmus national agencies, but to have all figures in the system, I will not say in real time, but almost. So this is the resume of what I was explaining, more or less. The credits should come through some big European grants. We don't have much information and we are waiting for the new calls.
Yeah, we can skip.
The new way to distribute the grants in the Erasmus programs.
Can you
Yeah. Here?
Here.
Yeah.
This one.
So the EU grants for the typical classical Erasmus student mobility. In the past, they were with the same amount per month for all the students, and now it depends from where I come and where I go. So if I come from Spain,
In the middle?
yeah, thank you. From Spain, and if I go to Finland, that is a more expensive country, I will have a little higher amount per month. If I go to Hungary for an exchange, the amount will be a little bit lower, more or less in the same amount. Here for Spain, it's set up for around 250, 350 euros per month, with a maximum of months to be financed. And the same for professors. In the past, professors used to have the same amount to travel from one place to another to Europe, professors or administrative staff that are moving around. And there is a similar table, not with 3 levels, but with 4. And it depends from where I come and where I go. I will have a small amount per day of visit, plus an amount taking into account the direct distance in kilometers from the origin to the destination. This is a new rule that is being set up progressively for Erasmus Mundus projects and for other projects, the calculations of distances for flights. The Erasmus Mundus Master's courses will be staying more or less the same. The thing is that, of course, as the program goes by, there are more universities that are aware of this action, more universities that have international masters that want to move and reform it and build up a big and strong consortium to prepare and have one application for the Erasmus Mundus. It will have still the name of Joint Masters, and still we will hear about the old Erasmus Mundus, but the new settings are that we speak about Joint Masters EU. And another thing is that you have to remember that though some of the universities here are not EU universities and cannot be a full partner of this Erasmus Mundus, you can be strong associate partners and collaborate in many of the tasks of the Erasmus Mundus by exchanging students, professors, or receiving students and professors in this framework. These are the minimum rules to set up the Erasmus Mundus. So minimum 3 universities per different EU countries. And as I was telling you, the old Erasmus Mundus doctorates that were under the big umbrella of Erasmus Mundus will go into the Marie Curie that now are said Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. The grants, as I was telling you, we are waiting so that we will have information about it. The staff mobility, which is quite interesting for you maybe from 2016-17, because when we know how many professors we will be able to grant, for instance, to receive here in different EU countries, from abroad, from overseas. We will be able to increase our collaboration to receive these visits, that for instance, short visits of 1 week to have one lecture from one professor, and within this visit also it is a big and nice excuse to start to discuss about other research collaborations or education collaboration projects, and so it is very interesting because for us, at least in Spain, our national grants have been dramatically reduced for all these actions, and it would be a key issue. There can be also staff, non-teaching staff mobilities in this framework, and as I was telling you, it will help us a lot for making benchmarking. And then we go to the next big branch of the Erasmus Plus. I was telling about mobility within one full master, Erasmus Mundus, mobility of professors, and then there will be projects that are called strategic partnerships and also knowledge alliances. Here there are some very big words and expressions, and below there are very big calls where I would not say that almost anything can be thought, but there are many, many activities that can be foreseen. My colleagues from the service that is taking care of the project development and application and promotion, they know the details. I'm not an expert in this, I'm sorry. So I would say that there are many EU projects where EU universities and non-EU universities can apply for the calls. As I was telling you, between March and April we had the first one. We are looking forward to learn a little bit more about all this and to see when and how will be the next calls. There will be some stresses in these big calls. So for instance, the ideas of establishing IT platforms or whatever you think and need, maybe some of them can be specific for some subject area, or others can be wider and larger, whatever you think of. Like for instance, if you know it, the twinning project, And also there can be capacity building projects or with neighboring countries, like in the old Tempus projects. Some of these projects are not only addressed to universities, but to big national governmental institutions or big, sorry. Sorry. It is my next meeting.
Okay. When is your next meeting?
In some minutes.
Okay.
So I'm finishing. As I was telling you, these projects can include big governmental institutions and universities, but also Erasmus Plus wants us to mix with research centers and also with companies, if we want and if we can. So we can think of innovative practices, either to think about how to establish joint innovative programs or transnational collaborations in different activities, and of course, new pedagogical approaches or methodologies, including this idea within the ICT area. Well, new approaches to have permeability between educational sectors, and also, as I was telling you, the collaboration with big regional or national authorities. Well, the idea is to go further the typical and basic collaboration and to try to have a higher scale in these goals and the people that we could reach. Okay, and also within these projects there could be mobility. it is not the goal of the project, but there can be mobility and there could be funds for these projects, okay? For mobilities within these projects, a few mobility to start to think about different things. That could be student mobility, a few student mobility, and there could be also staff mobility within these projects. And well, if you want to read about strategic partnerships and then you can start to read the different types of aims and objectives that they can have. There are many, many, many of them. Of course, these projects have to be done between a minimum of EU universities and a minimum of time. And depending on the activities organized, now the European Union is putting a minimum amount of budget. So the budget is not done like in the past, thinking on my own if the conference or the seminar or the meeting would cost this or that. But there are some tables and minimums for each type of activities within a project. So in theory, it should be easier for you to think about a possible application, though you have to think on which are the specific goals in these projects, because there are many people that are applying for these goals. Well, and more or less, there are other projects that are going to appear with neighboring countries, and we'll hope that in the near future we can have more projects, for instance, with the Mediterranean countries, and like for instance in the whole temples and etc. Because as I was telling you here, for instance, at national level, we used to have the actions of AECID, and now most of them have been cut. So, as a resume, I would just let it here because it's very dense and very long, and start to think about which actions you would like to establish between yourselves, and then let's start to think about which calls we could think about applying. Giuseppe is aware of which are the activities of the service that is taking care of projects, and for the next call you can take the basics of the past call and start to think about the actions maybe, and within the winter, for instance, start to work on the ideas for until the new calls appear. Thank you.